Governor, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tom, good to be back.
Thank you. You've got a mess in the Yellowstone River.
I do. ExxonMobil has had a refinery here for about 60 years on the banks of the Yellowstone River. They have a lot of pipelines that bring oil from all over, but here's a pipeline that comes up from Wyoming, crosses the Yellowstone River a little bit west of Billings, and it ruptured Friday night in the middle of some of the highest water we've had in the Yellowstone River. Now, this is not just some little river, folks. This is the longest, largest undammed river in the United States.
Wow.
This river goes right to the mountains where most of the snow is piled up. The Yellowstone feeds the Missouri, and the Missouri River drainage system is the largest river system in the United States, and 70% of the water that flows into it comes from the snowmelt of Montana.
Wow, and the Missouri
River. We're only about two-thirds done melting our snow in the high country, so the Yellowstone is running at peak capacity. It was flooding Friday night, and the pipeline burst.
Mm-hmm.
Dumped that oil in, and of course, folks, right away we heard from some people that called themselves smart guys. Says, "Oh, good thing the river was so high. You know, the solution to pollution is dilution. Just wash it around." No, folks. Not at all. Just the opposite of that. I'm going to give you the thing you can do in your home to prove to yourself how bad it is up here. What you need to do is go get a cookie sheet, put that on your counter. Then go get the biggest bowl you got in the cupboard and fill it almost full with tap water, almost room temperature. Then dump a little oil on the top of it. Olive oil's dark color, but if you got vegetable oil, that's fine. Put about a half an inch of that on top till it's completely full. Now, that's a full river. Everything's staying within the river. Now, when you go over the bank of the river is what you're going to do next. You're going to pour another glass of water in, then you're going to stir it a couple of times with a spoon because that's what's happening in this river with all this torrent. What you're going to find is what goes over the bank of that bowl is just like the bank of the river is going to be a high concentration of oil and a much lower concentration of water that's in the rest of the river.
Right.
Furthermore, when it hits that cookie sheet represents the wetland areas, those flat areas that are adjacent to the river it's the primordial mix that is the life's essence itself, where microbes and insects and reptiles are the filters and build this biosphere that is the health of this remarkable river. And now we have a few thousand acres. We don't even know how much because the river hasn't gone down yet, is been inundated in this oil. Now, as the river goes down, the water's gone, the oil's left behind.
Right.
So that's what we got.
So what? Now, I understand that the EPA pulled together this joint command task force or something like that to do something about this. ExxonMobil was participating, you were participating, and you pulled out of this.
Well, yeah. See, the way this works is EPA comes in, they're the lead agency. Montana's the client here. We're participating, my Department of Environmental Quality and my Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, our Department of Transportation, our Department of Health, and all the rest of it. ExxonMobil, they're going to pay for this. And they're going to use their expertise as well, and we are going to be in a joint command together. We have been for the last 5 days. The EPA is the lead in the joint command. ExxonMobil is there. The state of Montana is there. Well, the state of Montana, has some of the strongest environmental laws in the country. Our standards are better and more than virtually any other state and higher than the federal government. Well, that's important because we have some of the most pristine areas and wildlife of anybody, and we cherish it more than anybody else on the planet.
Yep.
But secondly, our Constitution, unlike almost every other state constitution, requires that anything that state government does has to be open government. I can't have secret meetings, and I can't have any of my people in secret meetings, and every document that is in the hands of any state official is a public document and is reviewable by all the press.
Wow.
Furthermore, any meeting that we have in Montana, if you have a state official there, that door has got to be open so the press can walk in, take pictures of it, or they can ask you questions. Well, ExxonMobil, of course, they kind of run a different shop there in Houston, Texas. And so they took over a good part of a big hotel here in Billings, wonderful hotel. Everything's good that way. And EPA's in there with them, and we're in there with them. And then they had, dozens of private security people telling people, you can't come in here.
Whoa.
And we said, well, no, if the state of Montana is in here, they can come in here. They're the citizens. They're the press. They can come in. And they said no. And, of course, EPA, they said, well, that isn't the way we do business either. And I said, well, that's fine. You're in Montana. I want you to get on top of this building, and I want you to look in every direction. And as far as the eye can see, you're still in Montana. We're going to follow Montana laws.
Right.
And so we've pulled out of their command center. We've set up a separate command center. And we're still going to send a representative over there to be involved in their meetings, but we're not going to be part of any secret meetings and putting documents aside that says the citizens can't see it.
That's extraordinary. How is this, in your mind, what's the best resolution? First of all, I'm assuming the rupture has been sealed. Well,
it has, and it was sealed quite soon. It's interesting you bring that up because ExxonMobil was, they were right up front. They by Saturday morning, they announced that there was an oil rupture and that they had already determined there was 750 to 1,000 barrels got spilled in the river. And they said that what happened, here's the chronology, they said about 11:40, they were recognizing in Houston control. Imagine that. They're controlling a pipeline in Montana from a room in Houston, Texas.
Right.
And they said that the pressure went down in the pipeline, and so they recognized it, and within 6 minutes they got the pipeline shut down. And this happened at 20 minutes to midnight.
Right.
And but understand, it was 750 to 1,000 barrels. Well, pushed a little bit harder within about 48 hours. Some other scientists, I'm a soil scientist, by the way, and I've run a lot of pipelines, and so a lot of us were asking questions, well, how can you shut a 12-inch pipeline down with 400 pounds a square inch in 6 minutes? Wouldn't you blow something up?
Right.
Well, no, it wasn't really 6 minutes. What it actually was is we started shutting it down after 6 minutes, and then it took us more time until we got it completely shut down, and we got her shut down in about 30 minutes. I was told by the president of the ExxonMobil pipeline in front of all the press 2 days ago.
Right.
Well, some snoopy Associated Press reporter, gumshoe, you know how they are, he got to digging around, and turns out it's more than 50 minutes that pipeline ran. But by the way, when it was 6 minutes, it was 750 to 1,000 barrels spilled. Right. When it was 30 minutes, it was 750 to 1,000 barrels spilled. And you got it. When it was more than 50 minutes, it's still 750 to 1,000 barrels.
Now, might that have something to do with their paying a fine based on how many barrels are spilled?
Well, I don't know. But I went ahead and I bought me a $2 calculator, and I'm going to mail that down to Houston, Texas, and maybe they got an engineer who can explain it to me.
Okay. Yeah, because my understanding is that it was tens of thousands of barrels of oil that were spilled.
No, I don't know what it was. Honest to God, I don't know.
Nobody
what
knows
it was.
At this point.
And I don't think we necessarily can believe their timeline nor how much oil is in there. But our job is to get the thing cleaned up. That's what we're doing right now.
And that's what you're doing. Well, good on you, Governor Schweitzer, for doing it and for holding to this concept of open government that Montana is frankly blessed by, that it's in your Constitution. This is a remarkable thing that you're doing, and I honor you for doing it. Thanks,
Tom. I'll tell you something here.
Yes, sir.
This is cleaned up when the state of Montana says it's cleaned up, not ExxonMobil and not EPA.
Yeah.
If this was a rocket that crashed here, we'd be in trouble because I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm the only governor in America that is a soil scientist. This is something I actually know, and I'm going to stay on this thing until it's done, and it's done right. Man,
it's a shame that you were not also the governors of Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi when BP was. In any case, you're doing great work, Governor Schweitzer, and governor.mt.gov is the website. Governor Brian Schweitzer. Thanks so much for being with us today,
Talk to you later.
Keep up the great work. Governor Brian Schweitzer of Montana. And, boy, what a mess. ExxonMobil. Gee, what a surprise. They're not telling us the truth. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. 15 minutes past the hour.